What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. I'm your host, James Clifton, and this is my good friend, Gary Bennett. We're here today first to talk about Leon Bailey. The deal is back on, according to some news outlets. We're also going to talk about, what's his name? What was his name? What was the guy's name? Ruggeri. Yeah, Matteo Ruggeri. We're going to talk about that as well. It looks like that is on the verge of being complete. A new left back from Atletico Madrid. And also Emi Martinez completely rubbishing reports that he has ever wanted to leave Villa, which is quite nice for him to finally come out after a whole year of people questioning all this shit.
To be fair, it's from his representative, so I'm not convinced by the entire statement, but it's nice that it's kind of confirming that he's staying, right? But to say that he never wanted to leave,
not sure about that.
No, I'm calling bullshit.
Anyway, on to Leon Bailey. So obviously back on, it was the 29th of July, it was reported that the deal looked close and was imminent and it would happen within a couple of days.
Come on.
Within a couple of days, then there was apparently the news that Hull were going to pull out the deal entirely because of, I think it was to do with wages, maybe. He wanted too much. And now about 20 hours ago, so last night or yesterday, reports have progressed and it says that the deal could again be finalised within days. The Hull owner actually got involved to try and get this breakthrough. So I don't know whether it was club to club, whether it was Bailey to club. I don't know what the stalling point was, but finally, it looks like we are going to get rid of this Deadwood.
And he can go and help Hull get relegated and be a championship player by this time next
season. Which is where he should be. Where he should be, at least for that, unless he finds some kind of amazing form again somewhere, it's where he should be. Right.
I firmly believe that his time is done as a top level footballer. I think if you're going to find anything, it will be under Unai Emery. That's the guy that kind of lays the bricks for you to kind of go out there and hit new levels. If you follow his basic, structure and plans, which Leon Bailey just hasn't done for 4 seasons. I think he'll tear up the championship. I think he'll be good. I think I feel for Hull because they're probably thinking, oh yeah, if you look at those stats from 23-24, you look at those highlights, you think we're getting a player here. But with all due respect to Hull, he's going to go into a team that hasn't got the same qualities as us, and I just don't see him being the man that's going to be your star man. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take your team. And
maybe if we sort of
I'd be wrong.
I'm not comparing it to Rashford and stuff, but you've seen it with players like that where they just need a fresh new start, and potentially he just performs better when he is seen as the man. He's a bit, he's a very kind of not egotistical, but a very self-confident player. As in, he wants to be the guy. He's the guy. So maybe him going in as this big deal that's going to spark all season. Maybe that's what he needs.
He might prove me wrong, mate, and be an absolute blinding signing for Hull. But I always talk about this: players that shine and players that lead you to the next level are those players that work hardest. They're your John McGinns. They're not your Leon Baileys who turn up and want to be a flair player every 4 games and disappear for games. He's not going to put the work rate in that's going to be good enough to keep Hull up. You're going to need workhorses, and he's never been that from the start. He had a brilliant season, 23-24. My biggest complaint about Leon Bailey ever is that he was a lazy swine. He wouldn't track back, and he wouldn't. And there was times we were so exposed down that right hand side, and Cash was, I think arguably when Cash got all the criticism was because he never had any cover. It was just quite, and then when you look at McGinn playing down that side last season, Cash was arguably one of our best players because he's got cover of people doing. So, there's a big spotlight that needs to go on Leon Bailey, and it needs to look within, because all I've ever seen from Leon Bailey after that, don't get me wrong, I love the 23-24 season. It was brilliant. He was phenomenal. But after that, it's all they just get drawn into the money, don't they? They get drawn into the fame and the celebrity. And I've seen more of him on Amazon with his family, kind of talking about his journey about being a pro footballer than I have seen him put any kind of effort into Villa. So I wish him well, and I hope he does well if he goes to Hull. Please, Hull City, I beg you, take this guy off our hands. I've got everything crossed. It's the one deal I want over the line. Right?
Gasson as well. Do you fancy taking a Gasson? Did you want
Yeah,
to get one free deal? Maybe?
Mate, he started every pre-season game up front. He's going to be part of the squad. I just hope he's not utilised at the expense of someone like Alisson, who, watching the highlights back from because we can also talk about the PG banging game, right? That was there. And Alisson looks sharp again. You know, he's moving the ball forwards, getting to good positions. Same with Maggio. Maggio didn't score, but the pair of them look like they could be a real threat. And so I really hope they get minutes, you know, and get in and around the first team.
Do you think Alisson's our starting right winger, or is it going to be John McGinn playing out on that right hand side, cut inside as more of a narrow 10?
Well, this is it. I think, yeah. This is what I said on the last show, mate. I'm excited to see what Emery does with how he, you know, moves the team around a little bit, because he's going to have to. Because he could play McGinn alongside someone in the middle, right? He could swap McGinn out for Tielemans quite easily, right? And he could play more centrally. But he does offer something down that right, you know, of coming inside. He scored, 10 goals last season, and his cover for Cash, as I said earlier, was superb. So it's how we utilise him, and there's nothing wrong with starting with McGinn on that right and bringing Alisson on for half an hour at the end, because we know that, as we talked about McGinn with his age and stuff, you just go out, okay, John, go and give us 60 minutes, run yourself into the ground, get the momentum going, and then you bring someone like Alisson on who's rapid, who could really disgruntle defences, and a completely different player, a wide player. So yeah, maybe that'll be the plan. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, you've also got to think about, I suppose you've got to think about the balance of the team. Like, usually we would have a slightly more hard-working, also will track back kind of like on the left side, and then on the right side or the left side. Don't know. Basically, we usually have one winger who would kind of like bombing on. So if you've got Garnacho as your main man on the left, like there's not really any other options really at the moment for that left-hand side, other than like maybe Hemmings or putting Buendia there or something like that. How's that going to work? Because you're not going to... I don't see us bombing on with two wingers. Like, I just don't see us doing it. It's going to be one side or the other.
Yeah. But again, mate, we don't know, do we? We don't know what's coming in terms of he might...
And also, you got Matt flying up that left-hand side who loves to overlap as well. And then you're like, okay, our left side is completely open now.
So
that'll be interesting to see.
There's got to be some discipline there from Matson. Like, he's great at doing that, but he, ultimately he will be our left back. Well, we don't know if we sign this Ruggery from Atletico. Maybe that's the cover. And again,
he's
Matson
more defensive. I think he's more, he's Italian. He's more of a defensive-minded left back rather than a.
Well, and it makes sense to do that, because also what he did last season on more than one occasion, Emery, was play Matson on the left wing, right, with Digne. So he could utilise that if Garnacho thing isn't working out. And mate, look, the Garnacho thing as well, mate, he's doing himself no favours. All I've seen from since our last show is horrendous videos from Chelsea fans, Man United fans, taking the mick out.
Yeah, but
one of the season, like, look at and then showing the highlight reels from the PG Bagnum game. However you pronounce it, international superstar soccer team. And you've got, I just feel for him, because I think he's under the microscope. Not necessarily, like, we'll get behind him. It's not the greatest thing to see because of the opposition. And then you look at other players like Alisson and Maggio, who are looking like they're, against weaker opposition, more than capable of playing. And I know it's a confidence thing for Garnacho, but seeing stuff like that online, it's a lot. If you go onto TikTok, mate, it's all over it, and you just go,
it's just a dark place, all that, isn't it? There's lots of them. You can always, like we've said, you can make a player look amazing, or you can make a player look shit just from like highlight reel. The thing that I kind of took for it, and I've seen a few people talk about as well, I've like watched some of the extended stuff back, is that it looks like Emery's trying to get him to play a bit slower. Like, he talked about Harvey Elliott before, right? And he said that he's playing the pass too fast. And he's making decisions too quickly and like kind of trying to force it. Whereas it looked like Garnacho's actually trying to slow it down a bit, like as in not just go gung ho, which is what he's used to doing. So he's obviously having to adapt to what Emery probably wants from him. And again, maybe that kind of nods into like what I was just saying, where we can't have two wingers just bombing on. So if you've got Alisson on that right wing, who is bombing on up that right wing, Garnacho has to hold, and he can't be doing that. But you're right. I saw some of the stuff and I was like, oh my God, what is this? But at the same time, I think you can't look into those like things.
No. And I'll stand by it, mate. I'll give him 10 games. We'll give him 10 games into the season. Let's see where he's at. We'll judge him on that, right? And that'll be fair. But yeah, it's not a great start for him because he doesn't seem like the guy who's going to ignore that social media noise, right? He's young and he's going to be all over it, watching it. And I just what Emery should be saying, like, mate, stay off that. Focus, get focused, right?
Delete the app, mate. Like, just get rid of those apps. Don't need it.
Like I said to you, just stop posting on social media. Focus on your football and show everyone the player that's in there, that we know that there is a player there. So hopefully that will die down and he can just focus on the football and be great for us. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. The one thing I want to say is probably this. I find, because obviously we're aware that Villa need to sell to buy and all these kind of things, these kind of like rules at the moment, or things that we've got in play. So do you think like the fact that this Ruggeri information's come out and like broke that's imminent, and the Bailey deal is going the other way, you reckon they're kind of like a domino effect? Basically, Bailey has to go for this to happen.
I reckon Villa are going, oh my God, let's get this over. Look, we just Bailey. Look, this is the deal for you, mate. I'm telling you, you're going to be so happy. Hull's the greatest city on earth, right? The people are brilliant. They're going to love you. You're going to be.
All I could think of was, you know that scene in Only Fools and Horses where they end up in Hull, where I think they go on a boat. And then Uncle Albert.
For our younger viewers, that's a TV show from the 80s. Go and Google.
Yeah, sorry, if you haven't seen it, you've got. I mean, if you haven't seen it, you need to see Only Fools and Horses. That's bonkers if you haven't seen it. But like Uncle Albert's like controlling the boat and he gets lost or something, and they end up in Hull. And literally, Del Boy's like, "Where are we?" And everyone is like, "Hull," and he's like, "How?" Like, that's all I can think of whenever I hear going to Hull. It's absolutely brilliant. It's like,
so hopefully, look, that kind of makes sense, right? Bailey out, Ruggeri in.
We've got a ready-made right winger in Alisson coming through, so we don't need to. I mean, I still think we're light on that right hand side, right? Like we're going to need another. Well, I mean, I suppose that the point is even though we know he can't play there, we've got Alisson, we've got John McGinn, we've got Gesson. So technically we have got kind of cover there, but it's just weird, isn't it? When you're looking at these things and you're going like, that's what we've got on the right wing, and we're going into a Champions League season and we want to again try and get Champions League. Is it like, do you at the moment as it stands? So if Ruggeri or whatever his name is comes in, Bailey goes, right? The squad as it stands now, do you think it's stronger than last season?
On paper, no. Like when if you're right on paper, no, and it's
nothing like the Champions League season squad we had.
No, but this is a little bit like kind of stats, mate. When you look at it, you go, oh, that's bad. That looks bad, right? And that's why the media jump on it, going, Villa have been decimated. Even Steve Bruce was on Sky Sports yesterday talking about Villa and Newcastle going, they just can't compete. Like it's kind of
we go again.
We go again, mate. And look, this is when as a fan you have to put all your faith in Unai Emery. That we said it before. Now we've got to overachieve again. We've got to go and prove ourselves. It's frustrating, of course it is, mate, because of what we've had to let go. There's no guarantees. Like we've even if we'd have kept Tielemans and Rodgers, right? Let's say we'd have kept Tielemans and Rodgers, right? We wouldn't have been able to do anything in the market, right? Because so we would have been going in with the same squad. And then you go in, and we knew from last season that we needed reinforcements throughout the team, really, right? We probably think if you spoke to any normal Villa fan at the end of last season, you go, yeah, we probably need 5 or 6 new players, really. Left back, right back, striker, right wing, like, maybe a new centre half, right? So because of, Mings kind of getting aging and whatnot. So I think we've had to bite the bullet to go younger, to go and balance the books. And so we've got, the only, because the other side of that argument is that people, and rightly so, will say that Emery's transfer windows haven't been great, right? And and it's true. You could argue that,
yeah,
right? Gesson, we buy for 30 million and ended up loaning him out at January. Wasn't working. We had to bring Bailey back and all that kind of, and Douglas Luiz.
Gesson for me is the biggest flop, because like Marlon and Diaby we made. There was reasons for, and like I said,
they were both very good players and should have been given.
I remember. I mean, people talk about this, and it's like I still keep coming back to Pau Torres, starting centre back. Anana, annoyingly just injured. That's not Emery's fault, I would say. Rogers has made us 100 million. That's an amazing signing. Maatsen, there's a lot there. And then yes, there are players that have come and gone, and there's all like the kind of like other stuff. But yeah, I'm still like, I think we've had this conversation a few times. I'm still like, I don't think it's terrible, but it's definitely not being amazing. But there's been some brilliant players.
Ultimately, man, we won't know until the season kicks off. Right, we're going to have to get to that 10 games in, and because it all relies on, will these players rise up to the challenge and hit levels that they need to hit? Because if they do, then yeah, we can compete on all fronts. Because if you look at what these players' potential are, like when Rogers signed, for instance, I didn't even really know who he was, and I was like, this is a waste of money for me. This is a guy in the Championship who doesn't really know anything. Swap that to Alisson, and you go, actually, he's come from Brazil. He's been playing regular first-team football at the highest level in Brazil, right? We saw a couple of cameos at Villa Park, and you go, wow, he looks exciting, right? Quick, he's powerful, looks like he's built like Rogers, like we know he's his twin, right? And then you look at someone like Brian Maggio coming through, who we've heard about for the last 12 months. And then, over these last few months, we've seen the training montage. It's been like a Rocky story, mate. Like, this guy looks like an absolute animal, right? So, maybe I'm not, and this is no by means saying these are going to be our saving players, but in terms of potential, when you look what he's done with certain players, like, how he improved Rogers, how he's improved Emi Buendia, right? How he can do it when players buy into it. Rashford, Asensio, all these players that buy into the mentality that can do it. You go, yeah, wow, man. Like this is a coach that knows how to coach a team and knows how to get the best out of players. So and now he's got to do it with the likes of Garnacho. And if he can, if these players perform to the levels that's required, which is basically when you've got younger kids, right, to lay down the foundations, and not these seasoned pros that are, again, as I talked about Bailey, I'll use him as an example, that are just seeing the bright lights and the money and the thing, and are distracted and with family and stuff like that, because so football's not the priority. Whereas we all know that as a 17 to 20-year-old, right, your brain is like, oh, football, I want to play football, right? And that's all the focus is, right? So these players could easily light up the Premier League for me, but it could also go the other way, and they could be massive flops, and we will struggle. I'm going with the first one because I believe in Unai Emery. Because if it was any other coach, I would be panicking, be going, yeah, we're depleted, and we still probably haven't got quite enough to compete. However, we are now, Martinez coming out and basically saying, I'm not going anywhere, never wanted to leave, however true that statement is, right? I'm not convinced, but he's at the end on the statement at Sky Sports, it does say at the end, he'd only leave if the deal was good for all parties. And quite clearly, people, Juventus have undervalued him, and Villa have just gone no. And Martinez have gone, yeah, fair play. I've got 4 years left on my deal. I'll stay until we get the right deal. That's massive.
He also knows that next season he's got Champions League again, so it's not like he's going to miss out on anything. Whereas if we don't get Champions League, then that's probably fine. But what a challenge on to go out there, right, with a World Cup winning goalkeeper who can motivate the young lads. Again, Argentina connection with Buendia to probably put his arm around Garnacho and say to him, look, you do it right here, we can get you back in the Argentinian squad. Do you know what I mean? You can be, and that's a massive incentive for Garnacho.
And if Konza stays, and if Watkins stays, then we've got the spine again with Kamara coming back. How good was it to see him on the score sheet, by the way?
Boubacar. Love it, mate.
Mate.
Boubacar.
I was following along on the texting on the thing, and like substitution Kamara's coming on. I'm like, yes. 2 minutes later, Boubacar scores. I'm like, oh
yes, he's back. I just wanted to just speaking like the strength of the team, and you were talking about the squad there. Dan Bardell actually put out an interesting. Sorry, I've got rid of you there, mate. Give me a sec. Dan Bardell put out this image and was like, "Look at this, like this squad. Look at the quality in this squad." This was the last time we were in the Champions League. This was the last appearance in the Champions League. Now look at that team, and you just look at and the squad. So it's like Martinez, solid. Cash, Konsa, Powell, Digne, kind of the same-ish, other than Digne. McGinn, same. Kamara, same. Tielemans, losing that. Anana, haven't got that. Rodgers, haven't got that. Rashford, haven't got that. And then it's like the bench, you got Asensio, haven't got that. Ramsey, it's like you can't look at it, you go, like it's not there. It might be in 2 years. Like that I think that's kind of where we need to be a little bit realistic. Obviously, we are going to be doing our pre-season preview in like a week or so.
Yeah,
and we'll go over it then. But I think there needs to be a little bit of a reality check here. Like, so straight off the bat, do you expect us to do what we did last time in the Champions League? Do you expect us to do that again?
I would just say that we're probably good enough to still get out the league phase, mate, to finish in.
I don't know. Yeah. But the quarters, like, I don't think anyone expected us to get to quarters.
No. Look, the expectation is to try and finish to compete in that top four again, and that's only because for what it means for the club. This is the biggest season ever, really, and we're starting afresh, so it's going to be really hard, mate. There's no doubt about that. This is going to be a tough season. I know we'll go into more depth when we do our preview, but like end game, top four for me, that would be the creme de la creme, right? To get Champions League football. But realistically,
it'll probably be top five again. By the way, I would assume it probably will be.
But realistically, if we can get anywhere in the top 8 with this team and gel, like I think that would be very good, and maybe have a really good run in the domestic cup. As much as you want to go, we're going to win the Champions League and finish 4th. But we know we can't.
Like something miraculous happens in January again, like we did with Rashford and Asensio and things of that quality.
Look, I'm not underestimating Unai Emery. This is not a manager that's taking this team on from scratch. This is a guy that's hopefully building something, and so it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we do go and compete, and everyone starts knocking us down again, because he again, I think, and people will always criticise Unai Emery because of his time at Arsenal and PSG, but I don't. This has got to be his longest serving job for a while.
It is,
right?
Yeah. I think it's his longest serving job ever. I think before this, I think he'd only done 3 years, maybe.
And that was right. So between Sevilla and Villarreal, right? So it's kind of because win a trophy and move on, and so it's now a proper project for me. This is not something that is kind of willy-nilly. So. Yeah, let the rest of the league and all the other fans come in and talk their nonsense, which they often do, right? Particularly any team in the Big Six can go and do one, right? Because they're living in a completely different, separate, stupid bubble, right? That their entitlement. Watching some of the content, right? It's weird because we're in social media, right? And we're trying to build something. But honestly, the people involved in it and the fans that are involved in all these top 6 kind of things, honestly, they're clueless, mate. I think the nonsense they talk as if they're just deserving of this. Being a Big Six team with all the way that comes with it, and then have the audacity to go, "Oh, look, it's Villa fans again moaning about PSR, mate."
Yeah, it was a really interesting. It was a quite interesting talk on Talk Sport. Again, it was Dan Bardell on Talk Sport, and they were talking about the Big Six and the top 6, right? And I've always said, look, there's a Big Six, which is basically your financial. Big 6, because they are just head and heels above everyone else. And then you've got your top 6, which I just don't think is a thing anymore. I think it's like a top 8, like basically that like 5th to 8th can come around however it likes. But it was interesting because they talked about Spurs, right? And then Dan Bardell was like, how did Spurs just become, when did they become that top 6? When did they just suddenly end up being a big 6 club? Where did they come into the conversation? They had that like kind of like stuff with Pochettino and they had that time, but they hadn't won anything for ages. They had all this. But interestingly, a fan did come on and they said, actually, it's like sustained success, right? And Spurs had 18 top 6 finishes of the last 22 seasons. So actually, is it just recency bias that actually makes that not the case? Because there was a time where, if you think about it, there was a time where basically that top 6 was pretty much set almost every season. Like it was basically those 6 clubs for a while. Like I can remember like a general like kind of period of maybe 5-6 years where that was the case.
But mate, Spurs had won nothing in that time. So what we're saying is that again, right? This is the level of, I don't want to believe football's corrupt, man. But like, you can't. It just points to that, because what you're saying is that as long as I've got bums on seats, right, and I'm earning the most money, right, commercially, globally, then that puts me in the big. It's got fuck all to do with football, because Spurs stood there for all that time and won nothing with one of the, with some great players, and. All they've done is build a magnificent.
They didn't actually get over.
They came close, didn't win anything. Got to a Champions League final, whatever. Right? It's all like whatever. Then they build the stadium, and all of a sudden, 20 years of mediocrity gives them a global revenue of like 450 million, whatever it is. Right?
I mean, it's a multitude of things, isn't it? They've had like obviously longer term planning on and seeing that football, the revenue solely from football wasn't enough, so that's why they built the stadium. It's become a big events place, and the fact they're in London is what kind of projects it, right? Like if they did the same and tried to do that in Birmingham, you're not going to have the same problem.
It's impossible not to say that there's not a north-south divide, right? Because anything in the middle just gets ignored. You basically, for us peasants that follow it, right, and spend all our money on it, you have what we'll do is we'll have 2 clubs up north, right? The Manchester clubs and Liverpool, so 3 teams that keep them people happy, right? Then we'll have all our London clubs where all the resources go and everything wants to be because it's central, and then you have the middle, which the rest of us can. It's like you can all go and get fucked. No matter what you do, you will.
And if you're too too close to the coast, you're like, oh no, you've got your beaches, you're all doing fine.
Yeah, but no matter what you do, we'll never allow you to compete. No matter what you do, right? It's just. It's wrong, because when you try and do something the right way and you've got all the infrastructure to compete and the financial backing to compete, and you're not allowed to because those big conglomerates have basically done what they've wanted for so long, and then now we put rules in to stop anyone else doing it. And
it all becomes entrenched, so it's all getting worse and worse. But I'm just looking at just back on Emery's tenures. I'm just looking at his tenures now. So Lorca Deportiva, he was there for 2 years. Almeria, 2 years. Valencia, he was there for 4 years. 2008 to 2012. Spartak, I didn't realize he was there. He was there for like 5 months. Then Sevilla.
5 months. What happened there? I didn't know that.
It was June 2012 to November 2012, and then Sevilla. He was there from Jan 2013 to June 2016, so 3.5 years. PSG, June to May, so it was like 2 years. Arsenal, May to November, so it was 1.5 years almost. Villarreal, 2.5 years almost, and then Villa obviously still here, so it's been 4 years now. And this is going to be his longest tenure, basically, like, unless something mental happens. But I would assume it's interesting because you try and think about like his mindset and what his project is and what he wants to do. If we don't get Champions League this season, and then he's hampered again, like personally, I could understand why he'd be like, "Fuck this." Like,
mate, mate. Even I'm getting to the point where I'm going up. Like, I'd rather us just be mid-table without any chance of competing at the highest level, so I could just go and support my team, right, and love them without kind of feeling the euphoria of going. We're so close to being some. I said it all of last season, didn't I? We're so close to greatness, right? But and it's not because we haven't got a good side. It's not because we haven't got a fantastic stadium. It's not because we haven't got fantastic owners who are willing to put all the money they want to put into it, but can't because they're restricted. It's just down to the governing bodies making sure that we don't compete with their agenda, and that is just wrong on so many levels, because Villa could easily be in that top 6 of a team and bring in the revenue and bring in the thing, and hopefully we're not wasting our time. The fact that we're doing an Asia tour this year and people are turning out and kind of, so we're trying as a club to grow that global brand. But there's no point in doing that if we're not allowed to push to the next level. Just allow it to be competitive. I get it, right? Because people always come back to that argument. Yeah, but you've got to protect the clubs and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's nonsense, right? Because you could put clauses in for that, where if owners are going to come in and start spending loads of money, right, then they have to make sure that enough is set aside if they decide to leave, that the club is financially okay, right? Exactly. To not go, that's it, right? You put this part, it's a set amount of money that says, actually, if you go and take all your money out of it, that there's enough for that club to carry on working, right? And they have to start again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. That's it, mate. And then we can all compete. And then, because I would love to overtake all these top six, because I just think as a club, Villa are up there with, the history that it has, with the best in the world, mate, in terms of what we've achieved and what we stand for as a club. So let's see what happens. But it's going to be an interesting thing, an interesting ride, roller coaster this season, mate. But under Unai Emery's guidance, truly believe that you can get the best out of these players. So I'm gonna sit here with all my fingers crossed that we absolutely tear up this league this year, and that we're a complete surprise package. And again, once again, year on year, we go under the radar, doing our business, and just with 2 fingers up to the media world, going, no, you don't need to be in that to do it. But we'll see what happens.
We will. Just looking, he's won of 196 matches. He's won 109 matches with Villa. That's absolutely insane. He's only lost 53.
It is insane, and we've had some of the best records at Villa Park, unbeaten for a year, 12 wins in a row.
Other than PSG, which you expect to have a win percentage really high, right? Where is the highest win percentage across his entire career? 56% win. 56% win percent. That's insane. Anyway, right. Brilliant. That is all we've got time for today. We will be back on Monday, unless there's any kind of big breaking news, where we'll try and jump on if we can. But Monday we'll be back for our normal weekly thoughts, and then next Thursday, the day after the Salzburg game, the game in Salzburg, the Super Cup game, we will be doing our pre-season preview. So we're not pre-season. Fucking hell, we're doing our season preview. Because we're not going to preview the preseason. That's already happened. We're going to be a season preview, where we will be getting some guests on. Hopefully, Ben from Beyond Talks Ball and Luke up to Villa, and potentially a couple of others. Try and get some people on to all talk about the upcoming season. And like I said, I think there needs to be a bit of realism there. I think if we can get Neil there, I think he'll bring the realism. Yeah. We shall see. Cool. Gary, you want to give us your final thoughts and sing us out, mate?
Yeah. Final thoughts, mate. Just the Super Cup. Obviously, we're playing Bayern Munich on Friday. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock kickoff. So enjoy that if you're in and around Thailand. But the Super Cup is coming up, and for those of you that are travelling, obviously all the information's out on the website. Make sure you check it out. Just wanted to say that don't get caught out with the passport malarkey, because it's all over it, and people just go, oh yeah, and they don't check their passport, because it's part of with the EU. If you've got 10 years, it's got to be 10 years since it's been issued, and it's got to have more than 3 months if it's coming out. And if you haven't got it, they won't let you in. And
you change mine. I think I changed the photo, which means the issue date's still the same. I think so. Make sure. The expiry date is longer.
The issue date's
still the same. It's so why is it so confusing?
On the government website, it says if you've got a passport that's been issued on and before the 1st of October 2018, then to check it, because if you've renewed it, the start anyway. Just be careful because lots of people have been caught out. I've seen it all over the news when they go on holiday and they're not allowed to travel. So if you are, just make sure your passport is all there. And once you're there, just as a heads up,
by the way, if it's not, you're fucked because you ain't going to get a new passport within the next 6 days.
Yeah. So if you haven't, you're screwed, mate. I'll have your ticket. Until we get a flight. To be fair, there were tickets available yesterday. I can't actually go now because I've made other plans, right? So, but there were a few tickets yesterday available for 50, 60 euros. I don't know if they're still there. I haven't checked this morning. But the other thing about the passport stuff, just on border control, they're going to be doing fingerprints and photographs because they don't do the stamping. So just be prepared to, don't kick off. Just be safe, right? And all the, like I say, visit the Villa website. I just want to give the passport thing because I know a few people have been caught out in that when they've just gone on general holiday and you go, oh crap, and then people have had thousands of pounds down the toilet because you can't get a passport. So. But the Super Cup is happening. It sounds like the fan part looks like it's going to be amazing. That's open to everybody as well. They got legends and music and stuff, and it just takes me back to this, mate. That's all it is, right? But I did read a thing yesterday about the Super Cup that said if we lose, it's just a pre-season friendly. But if we win, it's another open top bus parade and a trophy. That's what we're.
I mean, the thing that doesn't bode so well, I think Emery has never won it. I think he's had 3 times of trying to do it, and he's not managed to win it. And so
maybe, mate. This is a statement.
But Villa have 100% record in European finals at the moment.
That's true.
We won the European Cup. We won the Super Cup as it was. Well, it wasn't the Super Cup; it was the Super Trophy, whatever it was called back then. And then we won the Europa League final.
And weren't we the last team to beat PSG in a European tournament? Right, just.
Oh, I don't know. Potentially. I'm not sure.
Let us know in the comments.
Anyone let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments. If you are still here and haven't subscribed 36 minutes in, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, let us know in the comments. Gary, they're your final thoughts. Now sing us out, mate.
We'll see you on Monday, people. And as always, every week we follow the boys in claret and blue.
Peace.